Hey everyone, this is Sergeant Dangercow from the British Sergeant's Mess, and welcome to episode 6 of Chewing the Cud. This week I have to talk about Hardline. Everyone is talking about it, and I appreciate that, but I want to say my tuppence worth and my theories about Battlefield Hardline and where it's going. Now I'm going to start with a couple of the negatives. The first negative is, I think, for me, and I may be slightly overreacting here, I think there's a touch of input lag into it. It possibly is because it's a beta, but it just feels a little bit mushy from time to time. The second thing is that this is a massive downfall for me, a massive downfall, and that is the self-resing EpiPen. Now in Battlefield Hardline, in case you didn't know, there are different classes now that have different names. So a medic is called an operator. Now operators have two EpiPens. One is one you can use to revive yourself, and the other one is to revive other people. Now that obviously uses up one gadget slot, so you can have one of those EpiPens in one gadget slot, and you could have the other one in the other gadget slot, but you won't be able to carry a medikit or whatever thereafter. Now, for me, there has been a noticeable swell in the ranks of medics since this has come out. Now, I know in Battlefield 4, most people play as support. Medics in Battlefield 4 are quite hard to come by, good ones anyway. And now what we've got is a massive swing the other way, and there's two major reasons for that, in my opinion. One is this EpiPen, this self-resing EpiPen, which is called the Survival or the Survivalist EpiPen. Now that is a big mistake from my opinion, and that is just because it goes against the philosophy of Battlefield, which is teamwork. To be honest, I've tried it out, and by the number of times you've rezzed yourself, you get shot again straight away anyway. It's a pretty, frankly, pointless thing. And what it does is it also removes the incentive for a medic to help other people. If he can just jab himself, he'll go jab himself. I'm dead, doesn't matter, I can jab myself. Well, isn't it better to have someone else, or two or three people who can revive you, that can also revive other people, rather than having two or three people that can only revive themselves? It doesn't make sense to me, and I don't like it. I think it goes against the philosophy of Battlefield. I've got to be honest, brutally honest, and that is what I feel. On the flip side of that, there are a couple of positives, or standout positives. One for me is the new system of buying your weapons and attachments. Now this is not by hard-earned, your own hard-earned cash. It's by cash earned in-game, and the way you earn the cash in-game is by doing objectives and doing well. So it's essentially the same as XP or whatever, but it sort of works like that. Now, what happens is when you earn your money, you can then buy attachments for your weapon or guns or whatever. But in order to buy those attachments, you still have to unlock them by using the gun you want to unlock the attachments for and getting a certain number of service stars. There are no battle packs anymore. Hooray! So that kind of system, any system that encourages people to PTFO, is a good idea in my eyes and should be well rewarded. The other major standout playing feature for me, and this is a huge, whoever came up with this needs a promotion, a raise, a key to the city, their own flat, and a basket full of cookies from every single community member of Battlefield. Now this is the ability to run up behind a medic or a support class, or now as they're known, operator and enforcer classes. Operator being medic, enforcer being support. And you can go up behind those guys and hit E and get medic, you can get healed, or you can get ammo. And that's it. You just have to be next to them, and the little things say hit E to get ammo. You hit E and hold E, and you just get ammo and ammo. It means you don't have to wait for those idiots to drop their bloody medikits or ammo boxes. You can just run up to them, hit E. And that is a fantastic idea, and probably one of the best I have seen in the last 2 or 3 permutations of Battlefield. I really think it's a real boon to us. So well done, whoever came up with that idea. There are a few amusing things. The crane coming down makes the whole world shake. I'm sure that will be dialed back by the time it comes out. There's a few additions I'd like to see. There's been some additions suggested by people like LonoB and Beardy FPS. I'll put up their Twitter's down in the description. One I'd like to see is a handbrake in the cars to make you able to do J-turns and U-turns quickly when you're doing evasive driving. And in fact, to his credit, Dan Mitre, who is will also be linked down below, he is the new community manager for DICE, and he said, "Oh, what do you think? What ideas?" And a few of us kind of chucked ideas out, and he said, "Oh yeah, no, that's a good one." So, it's good that they are at least listening and are prepared to think about ideas that we would like to see implemented into the game. The last one is the muzzle flash. I went a bit Sean Connery there. The muzzle flash was, I don't know, maybe it was just me, but it seemed quite prolific and quite big and powerful compared to what it was in BF4. I don't know if that's just a beta thing or that's the way they're going to keep it, but anyway, it was just one of those things. All in all, you know what? I've got to say this, it's good fun. It's a diluted version of Battlefield 4, and it isn't Battlefield 5, but it is fun. It's a pick-up game. It's a bit of a change of pace. The games are a little bit more, well, those two games at most that we've been able to see so far, Heist and Blood Money, are a little bit more concentrated, and the action tends to revolve in a few areas that you can get a grip on. The servers are only 32 men, which does mean that there's fewer people around, but it's, that's no bad thing. And to be honest, it's fun. It is fun. Will I buy it? Yet to decide. Still erring on probably not. Will other people buy it? From what I've seen in the chat box, no. Should they buy it? It's up to them. I really don't care. It's your choice. I'm not going to criticize you for buying or not buying this game. To be honest, it's going to be a fun game. I probably will buy it a few months after release, but I won't buy it straight away. That being said, as I said, it's a fun game, so I can't really criticize at the moment what they've done. If you take it as a diluted version of Battlefield and not Battlefield 5, you'll actually get on with it. And here's what I think about it, because I want to talk a bit about where next for EA, where next for Battlefield, because obviously now in Battlefield 4 we've seen the CTE netcode implemented, and that's tightened things up. There's still bugs and what have you, but again, the last patch was not about fixing the bugs, it was about fixing the netcode, or at least addressing the netcode. So, then we got Dragon's Teeth to come out, and that's obviously going to cause problems as well, so we shall see what we see. But ultimately, where we are now is, where EA are, and DICE and Visceral and DICE LA, there's quite a crossroads. And the way I look at it is that Battlefield Hardline was given to Visceral because DICE LA are working on Battlefront, which, yay! Oh man, I'm so going to get that game, and because A, it's because it's Star Wars, and B, because it's Star Wars. And DICE Stockholm are working on Mirror's Edge, obviously, and someone mentioned Bad Company 3, and there is presumably Battlefield 5. Now, what I think is that Visceral have done Battlefield Hardline because I think it's going to be like CSI. And you've got all these variants of CSI. You've got CSI Miami and CSI New York and CSI Las Vegas. Well, I think that's what's going to happen with Battlefield now. I think what we're going to see is concurrently running series. So you're going to have Battlefront, which is a kind of different game, but it still feels like it's going to be Battlefield-ish. So you've then got Battlefield proper, 5, and Hardline. Now I think what's going to happen is you're going to have these 3 series running concurrently, and in each series you're going to find, like a Venn diagram, you're going to find pools of people who only do 1 and pools of people who do 2 or 3, and I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out, and indeed how it affects the game's development. Will it mean that Battlefield 5 gets streamlined down to serve a lower customer base number, or possibly moving on to Battlefield 6? I don't know. But there's definitely a crossroads here, and I think the way we're going is we're going to have 3 concurrent series. Battlefront, the Hardline series, and we're going to have Battlefield 5, or what I like to call Battlefield proper. So those are my tuppence for this now. I think it's going to be interesting to see how we go on from here. I think Battlefield Hardline's got a lot of potential. It's good fun. I don't think it's not. It certainly is not Battlefield proper, and I don't think it can be judged as such. So anyone who judges it in that light shouldn't really be listened to. So there we go. That's my opinion. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Ta-ta.